Another major story that we're watching today is the merger set to reshape the airline industry, and it's impacting millions of travelers.
Later today, American Airlines and U.S. Airways are expected to make it official, announcing they will combine their companies to create the world's biggest airline.
In December 2013, the Department of Justice approved a merger between U.S. Airways and American Airlines. The merger should have a positive impact on both a global and domestic level of the aviation industry. The new American will become the largest airline company in the world, and with their joint resources, assets, and knowledge, it should eventually set the standard for transnational airline companies. With 6,700 daily flights, more than 100,000 employees worldwide, and 330 destinations in more than 50 countries, American Airlines will undoubtedly change the economic landscape of the aviation industry. Using the system concepts laid out by Danella Meadows, it is possible to see that there is a decrease in prices stemming from the effects of the merger. Domestically, there will be greater equality among the resources shared by airlines. Think of the system as a reinforcing feedback loop regarding domestic flights. On one side, we have the inflow valve of the allocation of airplanes, the number of gates per airlines dispersed across the country. The availability of resources determines the number of flights possible per airline relative to their competitors. The new American Airlines has caused a shift in the allocation of these resources, leading to the outflow valve of an increase in competition as other airlines are able to increase their market share and improve their products. Reinforcing this system will be new airlines who will be able to enter the economy with increasing ease as prices decrease with the increased competition.
U.S. Airways is a primarily domestic airline with a limited number of routes into Europe. American Airlines, on the other hand, is a worldwide airline that has been one of the largest in the world since its founding. These two aviation giants joining forces could signify a change in the aviation industry that could impact the U.S. economy one way or another. Internationally, we see a very similar systems concept taking place. The entrance of a new global airline will challenge Lufthansa, among others, as the largest international player, and cause there to be a shift in the demand of flights in foreign markets. In this case, the allocation of resources occurs on an even larger level. Instead of simply influencing the domestic array of flights, the merger will affect the global transit system, as the combination of American and U.S. Airways will lead to greater international competition with their ability to provide flights to all continents on a more consistent basis than anyone else. The shift in flight capabilities worldwide will force greater competition among airlines. The new equilibrium created by the merger and the subsequent shifts will be one of lower prices.
In August of 2013, the Department of Justice originally blocked the merger from happening due to the fear that such decrease in U.S. markets would lead to the airline to monopolize the aviation industry and decrease jobs in certain states as well as flight traffic into large tourist states such as Florida. Passengers would be paying higher airfares, yet receiving less service while having fewer choices for flights. In order for the merger to go through, the Department of Justice came to an agreement with both airlines. The agreement, according to Forbes, had the Department of Justice request that the airline remove 134 takeoff and landing spots at Washington's Reagan International Airport, as well as 30 Fort LaGuardia in New York. It also made the airline agree to give up 2 gates at Boston's Logan Airport, Chicago O'Hare, Love Field in Dallas, Miami International Airport, and LAX. All these airports are considered hubs for either U.S. or American, so this decision reduces the number of flights and employees the airline can house in these airports and allows for new competition. Since foreign-based airlines are not allowed to carry paying passengers between U.S. cities, this gives much smaller, mainly domestic airlines a chance to grow and compete with major airlines. Internationally, the structure of the airline industry will be significantly altered, as the new American Airlines challenges the status quo pre-2014. The German airline Lufthansa had previously held the title as the highest grossing company in the industry. According to projections, American Airlines will surpass the profits of Lufthansa in the near future. Not only does the merger prove that one of such magnitude is possible in today's market, but also that U.S. companies will increase their influence in global transportation while keeping prices at an affordable level or even cheaper than that.
Prices will decrease just like the domestic market, and competition will increase as the merger gives oneworld more legitimacy in a market previously dominated by larger alliances, such as SkyTeam and Star Alliance.
Along with this, one way airports make money is through airlines using it to land, park, and refuel planes. These fees vary depending on airplane weight, size, the time the planes land, and the size and location of the airport. This way, larger airports will choose to have more and more international airlines land on their real estate to increase revenue as well as increase competition between the international airlines, including that of the U.S. market.
With a shift in the cost of production, American Airlines will be able to lower the price of airfare for consumers. Decreasing airfare means the airline could dramatically improve the incentive for consumers to fly on their planes. The airline has ordered hundreds of new fuel-efficient aircrafts, and this should allow them to decrease their fuel consumption by over 500,000 gallons per year. Recently, fuel costs have accounted for 33.2% of Americans' operating expenses, but they expect to change that with an expanded and updated fleet.
Additionally, it would take 18 to 24 months for the new airline to completely merge and consolidate. This is due to branding in all airports such as check-in and departure desks, as well as U.S. Airways and American Airline logos on the airline gates and the painting of hundreds of aircraft in the new combined fleet, which includes 462 new planes added to the 600 they already own. New uniforms would also have to be made for employees, and the employees would have to be trained the same as well. When this is all said and done, prices will likely go down even further since the cost of the consolidation process will no longer be a factor. This, in turn, could continue to drive the competition to drop their prices as well.
The competition for U.S. international airlines is now controversial. Due to the merger, there are now only 3 main international airlines in the U.S. aviation market, down from 8 airlines in the past decade. The decrease allows for the main 3, American, Delta, and United, to control U.S. prices and for more international airline companies to enter the U.S. market.
Major airlines in the Middle East and Asia are making the international airline industry much more competitive, as there are more and more airlines that are reaching similar size as the major American and European airlines. Recently appointed American Airlines CEO Doug Parker even said, "This is a global business and one where we have to compete globally. We can't ignore any global threat, and we can't be asked to compete on different terms." In conclusion, the merger of these 2 major airlines will have a serious impact on air travel, not only domestically but on a global scale. The introduction of this airline, contrary to what people think, will actually decrease prices across the board as a result of increased competition. The large airline will have to make way for smaller airlines, domestically and abroad. On the other hand, the combination of these 2 airlines will bring another player to the table in the fight for domination of international travel, equaling the field for both. Airlines such as Emirates, Qatar, and Lufthansa have been controlling the market in recent years. But now with the creation of the new American Airlines, the industry is changing for the good of the consumer.